Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're featuring a rather gorgeous SInn. This model is the 206 STAR, and I don't know why, I've never actually handled a 206. This is the first time I ever have, and I've got to say, wow, it's got some presence. It really is a kind of very, very solid feeling watch, and it has just the right amount of bling, if that makes sense. It really does come across as a very premium looking watch, and I have to say I really like this watch. It's I don't know why, I've never actually kind of got to play with one before, but this is really nice. This one has come courtesy of Ryan over at Francis Gaye of Coventry. They've got a great SInn collection. They never cease to amaze me with how many models they kind of can get to me when it comes to SInn. But they do have a big stock of other models: Grand Seiko, Tissot, Rado. Off the top of my head, I can't think of any, but Doxa, Bremont. You've got the idea. There's loads. If you're based in the Midlands area, well worth popping in to have a look. If not, check out their website, and I dare say you'll find a watch you like, and they'll be able to get it out to you. So, what do we have? It is just, I say, got some heft to it. Let's talk about sizes first. It's a bit of a strange one. It's a 43mm watch. So, it's for a lot of people, 41, 42 is really good, but 44 is too big. This is at somewhere in between, and it actually looks bigger than it kind of is because of this silver bezel. We'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. The size of this watch is 17mm. Now, honestly, don't let that put you off, because it doesn't feel like it on the wrist, and it is partly due to this amazing display case on the back, but again later. The lug-to-lug size is 48.8 and the bracelet size is 22. Now, the dial, I think it has got such a clean, really nice looking dial. I love it's not quite full. The background is more a satin finish, but they've done it really well. It's a printed hour markers, minute markers, quite a bit of loom on this watch. It does look pretty impressive. The hands say plenty of loom. As you can see, it is a chronograph. If we start a chronograph off, let's have a listen. There we go, a nice positive sound to it. I just really like it. I think it's got such a clean, kind of nice looking dial to it. It really does look the part. I like the way you have the sunburst effect, well, kind of the radial dials going on the subdials. Now, as we can see, we have the constant running second hands here. We have a day-date complication over here with a nice print of SInn and the AR, which we'll talk about in a sec. And then you have the hour and minute totalizers for the actual chronograph. So that's how the dial is. So I quite like it. I even like the way they've done that little made in Germany at the bottom there. It's just so cleanly done. So no, let's have a look at the jump over. As you'll see here, once this second for the chronograph goes over, this should jump 1 minute. Let's see how it looks. Perfect. Really nice. So no. As we come out, we have a sapphire crystal, and just look at that dome. It is a really nice dome. You can see you get that slight bit of magnification as you look to the side. So a double dome sapphire crystal with AR coating. Now, as we come out, this normally, I'm not, the silver bezel inserts, I've never always been a fan of, especially on my EZM2. I've always thought the black looked best, but the actual silver on this, it really suits it. I like the way they've only coloured in the 5 minute markers around it. It all looks really clean and precise. We have a luminous pip at the top there, because this, after all, is a 300-meter diver. So it's one of those. It is, I suppose technically it is a dive watch with a chronograph, so it is rather cool. Bezel action, let's have a listen. Very crisp. Very crisp. Back play. Oh, there was a tiny bit out. I think I missed. tiny bit of backplay, but the bezel action is really pleasing. It is actually really nice. Now the bezel itself does feature, yes it does, but as you can see here we have these tiny screws, and these screws are part of the captive bezel system, so you can't accidentally knock this bezel off, and it means removing the bezel if you have to is incredibly easy by just undoing 3 of 4 screws which are mounted around here. So, bezel action, great. I love the design of it. I love the fact it's got this kind of polished look to it. It's like a dressy kind of diver, really. It's got enough polishing that it looks kind of very dressy, but not over the top. It doesn't look too in your face. I've had some watches before, a Breitling Chronomat Evolution comes to mind, where it was just too polished. And to me, it didn't look great. I've actually removed that one off the bracelet, but this one suits it. We do have polishing around the side of the watch. Now, as you can see here, this is the copper sulfite crystals, which is part of the AR tech. Now, basically, run you through it, but if you know my videos, you know what I'm going to say. You have an inert gas in here, which needs better seals, so they fit better seals to it, and they put a copper sulfite crystal in there to see if it's absorbed any moisture. Over time, this will darken, because no matter what, you're always going to have a certain amount of moisture, but moisture isn't good for oils. As we all know, water and oil do not mix, and over time, this will change colour. If I get this watch here, you can see on there how much darker that copper sulfite crystal is, showing it has absorbed a small amount of moisture, keeping it away from the delicate parts of the watch movement. Now, as we come round to this side, we have the stereotype angular beveled edges to the lugs there, which is very much a SInn trait, and then we have the pushers and crown. Crown is signed, and the pushers, I must point out, this is a bit of a quirk, which I'm not quite sure why they've done, but I suppose it kind of looks the part. Now here, this outer part here actually looks like it's a protection system to stop you accidentally pressing the crown, the pushers underwater. As we all know, pressing a pusher underwater isn't a good thing, because you can disturb the seals, which subsequently mean you might allow water to ingress into the watch, and that is a big no-no. But this watch is fitted with the SInn D3 tech. Now, what that means, it doesn't matter. You can press them, no problem. So these aren't actually guards. They're kind of just welded in. I don't know if they're like to act as guards to stop you, hitting the pushers, or maybe they've just carried it over from models which don't have it. Now, let's have a look at the reset. Nice, crisp, solid. So that's a little bit of a strange quirk. The crown, if I unscrew it, boom. I tell you what, it's an incredible amount of resistance as that pulls out and screws in nicely. First one, no problem at all. So as we come round to the back of the watch, wow. Now, before I actually show you the movement, have a look at this, because I think this is really cool. Look at the dome on the back of the watch. How many watches with a display case on the back have it domed? So when you actually look at the front and back, it's like almost like this kind of pebble kind of look to it. I've never seen a case back which is domed like that. I think it looks absolutely terrific, but I can guarantee the only reason they've done that is to cram in this movement, and this movement is a beauty. I just love that free spinning rotor there. That looks so cool. We have blued screws on there. We have plenty of decoration. In fact, I put this on the time grapher earlier, and I think it was coming out at about 1 second, maybe a fraction 1.5, dare I say it, which is truly impressive. But this is basically, it's based on the ETA 7750, or the Valju 7750 I should say, which is an absolute workhorse of a very tried and tested. But this is the Concepto version of it, so I think they call it the C999001, I think it is. 48 I think it's got a minimum of 48 hours of power and about 25 joules. Now, I've been super impressed with Concepto movements, because I've got the same movement in my 144 anniversary, and it feels absolutely solid. It is a cam-based chronograph, and it just works really well. Concepto have only been around since 2006, but they build some amazing movements. They even do tourbillons and micro rotors, so you get the idea. They are a very accomplished manufacturer of movements. Other little things, let me think. You can get this watch also on a fine link bracelet, which I dare say, I think I would possibly go for this watch on a fine link more so than the H-link, because I think it kind of suits that more dressier kind of diver feel to it. Okay, if you do go for that, you do lose the fact that you don't get the micro adjustment like you do here. You don't get the fold out dive link extension, and but I think it kind of suits it, because I don't know how many people do actually take these watches diving, but just look how thin that clasp is. It is really cool. No matter what you say about the clasp, it is incredibly thin, and I like that. Hex key bolts to adjust for H-link. We're all kind of used to that these days. You can also order this, I believe, on the black leather strap with a red hoop, or you can also have it with the different styles of rubber strap, any colour you want pretty well, either the larger ones, the new one which has the micro adjustment, or the newer style butterfly clasp. Both of these are old ones. I should have got a new one to show you, but I just think it looks great. Let's put it on the wrist and see how it looks. As we say, wrist check. Bob has obviously stolen my U2 off me, so he's wearing that. I'm wearing my EZM13, the original model, because we had a review of one of them the other day. Now, if I put this on, now to be fair, I haven't sized it from my wrist, so you are talking, I say 43mm watch on my 7 1/4 inch wrist. Now remember, it's not always the case size which determines how big it looks. To me, it's the lug width. If you have a long lug width, you can have a small watch, but the lugs still make it look too big for the wrist. That, though, I think looks great. And because that back is all domed, you see how it sits? Actually, it doesn't really sit as high as you would expect for a 17mm watch, but I just think it looks so kind of dressy and cool. There's not many divers until you start going up to the high-end brands where you can actually wear, in a more smart kind of way, where I say that with a shirt or whatever. But this is kind of one of those where you could actually pull it off, because it just looks expensive. It looks kind of cool. That's the way I kind of feel about this anyway. I think it's not a cheap watch by any means, but SInn are mostly known for their rugged tool watches like you see with here, where this definitely you can get away in a more smarter environment, but it still looks cool on your wrist if you had this on a nice vintage leather strap with jeans and t-shirt. It's one of those kind of, I think, do it all kind of watches. So no, but yeah, I think this is a really lovely looking watch, and it feels nice. Anyway, any questions, let me know in the comments below, and most importantly, stay safe out there, guys. Take care. Bye.